Welcome to ABC Spin Labs. I'm Jeff, the director.
And I'm Gavin, the chief engineer.
We are actually together today, all in one location for a special episode about why we started this channel. And we originally concept of this channel was to do a normal slot video, Desert Degen style, Bad Bad Adam, all of the famous YouTubers that do casinos. We were going to go into the casino and $300 to $500 of what a recreational gambler would do and say, hey, these are the things that you should do, test methods, all of that kind of stuff. And we got a call from somebody that we love saying that they had a gambling problem. That changed the whole direction of the channel.
Yeah, it was important to us. We saw it kind of as an opportunity to reevaluate where we were going with the channel and what we could do. So trying to think kind of retrospectively over all the other channels that are out there and how we could possibly be unique and what we were passionate about. We decided to go the path that we're going right now in terms of evaluating different data metrics and opportunities and trying to educate the everyday gambler.
Yeah, I think that's what's really important, right? So we're going to get into today about what we hope that we can touch one person, one family, and change what that outcome might be for somebody. This video might be for you, it might not be for you, but it certainly won't hurt you to go through this with us today and understand that maybe you see that in somebody else and then you can recognize some of the warning signs or whatever, so you can have that talk, or somebody else will see this and say that, well, that's me, and then maybe I didn't realize I was as severe problem gambler as I am. We're not here to judge. I can tell you that. That's not what we're about. We're about helping people be safe and smarter gamblers. And sometimes that's recognizing when you have a problem.
Absolutely. So let's get into it. So the stakes are real, and these are all numbers US based. So the percentages and overall number that you're seeing up here on the screen right now are based on that. Also based on data that's available to you guys. So 1% of adults in the United States have a severe gambling disorder. 2 to 3% have experienced moderate gambling problems. That totaling out to 6 to 9 million total US American citizens, adults obviously. And what's important out of all of the stuff that we're going to present today to you guys is that the cost to seek the help that you may want or need is free in almost every case, whether that be counseling, chatting with anyone online, or just reaching out to someone over the phone. Those resources and the tools that we'll walk through today with you guys are all free to everyone that's watching this video.
Yeah, and the original thing was math, right, for us. But math alone doesn't protect the player, right? Like that isn't, we're here to do all of the above. We're not here just to do one thing. We're not here just to do simulations. We're here to make you a safer, smarter gambler if that's what you're choosing to do with your entertainment dollar.
So let's go kind of into the behavior, what emotional signs and financial signs you may see that could help you identify yourself as someone who may seek assistance, support, or anything in terms of these camera fell over here to my right. We're getting that resituated. But while we do that, let's review some of the emotional signs specifically. Restless or irritable when not gambling, preoccupied, constantly thinking about the next session, guilt or shame after sessions but returning anyways, using gambling to relieve negative emotions, and failed attempts to cut back or stop. Going through all of those, how many times have you been in a casino and experienced at least one of these emotional signs?
Say that one more time.
How many times?
Have I experienced at least, I will tell you more than I want to admit. I can tell you that. And I think recognizing that is part of the solution, right? If you can see what you're doing, that you feel bad when you get out of the slot machine, you go to the parking lot and say, hey, what have I just done? Kind of feeling. I've done that before.
Yeah.
Hey,
And how many times have you tried to recoup a loss by going back and or feeling the urge to the impulse almost to go back into a casino and say, "Hey, I lost $500 last session. I'm going to go and get that back because maybe that was rent money or that was your phone bill or car note." It's all emotional gambling in some ways and signs that you can identify in yourself to try to circumvent it becoming an issue long term for yourself. Things that we'll talk about later in this episode are here to support these types of emotions and help you identify whenever you're getting to the point where it may be a problem.
Agreed. So we'll talk about this built-in early warning systems. Hey, this is what the channel is based off of, right? We talk about floors and ceilings for us. And Gavin, go through the system and tell people about exactly what we're doing.
So, to talk a little bit about the system that we've already talked about in several of our episodes and we'll continue to hit on throughout the course of this entire channel, we want to be encouraging you guys to set floors and ceilings for yourself. It doesn't necessarily have to be this numerical value or this dollar amount or even these percentages, but go in with an anticipation and an understanding of what your realistic ceiling looks like for your session and what your realistic floor looks like. We've seen through the simulations that we've ran already and shared with you all that not every session is gonna be a winner. As we get closer, similar to that million spin episode we put out for the first initial episode after our intro, we analyzed RTP and really honed in on what that looks like over the course of a million spins, 100,000 spins. Even at 10,000 spins, you're really seeing the payout back to the casino pretty early on. And you can see some jumps in terms of jackpots. And then I use the term peak and valleys often. You'll see those peaks, but just as often, if not more often, you'll see those valleys where you get into these losing streaks and start getting closer, or even hitting your floor, and having the discipline within yourself to set those numbers specifically, whether they're percentage based or just what you're comfortable losing and winning, setting those numbers for yourself, having the discipline, and then respecting that decision prior to even walking into the casino is an extremely important characteristic and trait that you should have as you're going in if you want to be a responsible gambler that is still having fun.
Well, let's talk about realistic terms, right? Let's just say, Gavin, you go in, you early in your session, $300 bankroll, you hit a major. Let's just say a major. So you won $900 now. You heard it early on in your session, you still had 250 left in there. So now you're at $1,100. There's nothing wrong with taking that 1,100 and now adjusting what your floor is, right? Like, hey, your floor was 150. Now move that floor now to 600, which was going to be your ceiling, and then make your ceiling another number, which might be 1,400 now. Yep. And readjust it. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you're going the positive direction. It's when you can't get up from that slot machine when you're at the negative is where there ends up being a real issue.
And realistically, just like the numbers are saying, you may hit that jackpot, but the likelihood of hitting another one is unlikely. It's highly, highly unlikely. 1 in 96,000 in most cases. So whenever you're resetting that ceiling and floor for yourself, take opportunities to take the wins when you still can, obviously. Enjoy your session, obviously reap the benefits of hitting a great jackpot, but also have that discipline for yourself in terms of when to walk away.
Know what side you're on. Set a limit, stick to it, right? So whatever Gavin talked about this a little bit earlier, right? The pre-plan, we talked about this in the last episode, the pre-plan and the cash out button are the two best things that you could ever do when you go to a casino. Hey, that's having your plan of attack before you go. You do your research on your game. You learn, hey, what the bonus structure is. You do that. You've set your limits. You've set your floor. You've set your ceiling, but making sure that you stick to that budget. So, but if you can't do that, that's a warning sign. That's a warning sign.
And then I think that covers losing and winning just as importantly, is obviously setting those ceilings and floors for yourself and being comfortable with knowing that you may walk out of there with the floor. And in a lot of cases, I think in last week's video we posted 20 out of 100 sessions on average. It was 20, 22, and 30 between the different machines. But realistically, you're seeing a 1 in 5 chance of actually hitting a winning session, if you want to consider it that, with specific parameters in terms of bankroll, ceilings, and floors. So if you're not able to set those and again have the discipline to respect them, you're chasing the losses to get even, and you keep on playing after you've won to keep on chasing that next high, that next jackpot. Those could be signs that you're facing a gambling problem as well.
And then time, right? Like making sure, like you can look at our bankroll management system. It has a time limit in there. It has a spin count in there. It could be either one of those, whatever one that you see that fits the way you want to do with your entertainment value, right? Making sure that you're going and having fun and making sure you understand that outcome of what that's going to be. But the outcome should be that you're enjoying yourself and you're getting everything out of it that you ever wanted to get out of it. Not that you are getting mad or getting angry or upset that it isn't going your way, because just like Gavin said, everything we see is 1 out of 5. Yeah, 1 out of 5 times you sit down at that slot machine, you could be a winner. But 4 out of 5 times, most likely you're going to be a loser. So understand that it's entertainment money, and if you're struggling with that, that might be an indication.
And then finally, moods and I think secrets kind of go hand in hand with each other in one way or another. In terms of mood specifically, if you're sitting there having fun, not letting emotions get the best of you and influence your gambling or what your bet size may be or what you're willing to walk away with, that's a great sign. If you're struggling with that mood, maybe getting a little frustrated or anxious or any of the above, really, types of negative emotions, that may be a sign that you're struggling with a gambling problem. And I mean, Dad, I've been in a casino plenty of times and seen people smashing the casino or the slot machines. I've seen them walk away in frustration, tip over a chair. And what does that tell you about the what that person is experiencing at that point?
Yeah, it's showing you is that there is so much emotion that goes into what you've gotten, and if you can't control that, like that's an issue.
Yep. And then going into the secrets, I think something that's extremely important to note and help you identify if you're having a gambling issue or problem is if you're hiding those habits from your family, loved ones, or friends, and if you're open about what you're doing and what you've lost, what you won, how often you're going in terms of frequency and things like that. That's great signs that you're being honest with those people around you. If you find yourself hiding it or being embarrassed in any way, to share that you've lost a little bit of money or whatever the case may be, you may be struggling in the same sense.
Here are 8 questions, right? We didn't come up with these 8 questions. These questions, Gambler Anonymous or one of the websites gave us these 8 questions that if you ask yourself, can you answer them, right? Like, have you ever gambled more than you plan to? Hey, hold on.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. But like I've gambled more than I wanted to. If you take that as a learning experience and then say, "Hey, I'm going to leave my ATM card in the car so I don't go back to an ATM," right? That's a learning experience that you can do. But if you can't, but if you've answered yes to that question, I would think the majority of us, that anybody watching this video, anybody that's gone to the casino, has done this at least once, right? You've spent more than you wanted to. Doesn't mean that you were out of control, as in ruined your life or couldn't make your bills for that month. But it does say that it leads you to understand how it could do all of that stuff.
Yep. And question 2, have you ever gambled to escape stress, worry, or sadness? Again, some of those emotions are extremely understandable, and we experience them in every aspect of our life in some way or another. But are you seeking gambling to escape those types of feelings? That's something you sometimes need to do a self evaluation on and determine if that's a, a factor of what's driving you to go to the casino.
And then number 3, after losing, did you feel you had to return to win the money back? Whether that's that day, whether that's tomorrow, like, are you saying, "Hey, I had a bad session. I need to go back. I've got to win my money back. I know this machine, it's going to pay off this time." And if you're going back, you've got to ask yourself that question.
Have you borrowed money or sold something to gamble? I personally have never been in a circumstance where I felt this way, but trying to be empathetic to this situation and considering all the circumstances, there's absolutely situations where I know friends of mine have even done this. Leveraged assets that you have outside of what is reasonable for you to lose at that point just to fuel some type of addiction or high that you're seeking from that gambling or an attempt to recoup the money. Maybe you lost $100 and that was what you intended to pay your phone bill with. And if you take out another 100 or pawn or sell something just to get a little extra, you could win 1,000. You could win 200, and that pays your phone bill this month and next. Those are signs that you may be pursuing the wrong avenue in terms of gambling.
Yeah, and have you ever lied or to hide gambling from your family and friends, right? If you can't talk about it openly about what you just went and did, that there's something to that, right? And you've got to examine what that is and why you feel like you can't express that. And is it because you lost too much money? Is it because I went overboard? Hey, my mood, whatever it is. But if you're hiding something, that's an indication.
Has gambling caused problems with your relationship or finances? Obviously, this can happen from different levels of problems outside of gambling, inside of gambling. But specifically thinking about what we're talking about today, are you being is your relationship being affected with your loved ones, and where are you able to draw a line in terms of that? Look introspectively into yourself and the situations that you're putting your loved ones into, and think to yourself, is this causing an issue?
Have you ever tried to cut back but found you couldn't? Like, you know what you want to do, you have a plan of attack, you've done all of the things that we're talking about. You've set what you've set your pre-casino trip up, and then you've got it all planned out, but then you just can't stick to it. Like, just make sure that you recognize that and then you address it.
Yep. Have you felt restless or irritable when trying to stop gambling? I personally have even experienced this in one way or another, knowing that I have to walk away with the swallowing the pill of I lost a little bit of money here that I didn't necessarily want to. Obviously, everyone wants to walk out a winner, and they aren't always able to in most cases. So, has that ever driven you to a point where you felt restless, or you continuously had to think about going back to the casino, or going to the same machine again because you know it's about to hit in your head, and mathematically it's not going to. All of these, and out of these 8 questions, we need to look at how many are we answering yes to at some points in our life, right now or in the future. And if that answers 3 or more, it suggested that you may have a gambling problem based on those patterns. And then ultimately, if you're answering yes to 5 or more of these questions, it may be wise to seek help from a professional. We'll reference some later on in this video, and we'll make sure that we're linking them in the description for you guys to be able to quickly get access to them as soon as you need them. Again, realizing that these are free resources to you, and we'll kind of go into a little bit more detail, but just realize that these are some questions that you should be asking before you go to a casino, sometimes while you're at a casino, and after your sessions, just to really do some internal analyzing.
The floor and ceiling as a health check, right? We've talked about this already like 3 different times, Gavin, just today, but we talk about it on every one of our videos. This isn't something that we're saying because of this video. We're saying this is because it's the most wise thing that you can do is set the plan before you go, right? How much are you going to bring to the casino? How much are you willing to spend? Have I set my floor? Have I set my ceiling? Am I able to walk away? And if you're not setting up that plan, that's already a plan of failure.
Second, test yourself mid-session. Take opportunities whenever you're getting close to your ceilings or floors to really hyperanalyze the situation and ask yourself, am I able to walk away right now? And personally, am I able to get up from this machine, press that cash out button, and walk out of this casino on my own free will? And that's something we need to be doing every session, and realizing if the answer is no, there may be an issue or a problem that may need to be addressed outside of that session, as well as am I being cognizant of my current circumstances in terms of where my money's at? Am I being drawn in by those LBWs and the flashing lights and hope and anticipation for my next roll being a jackpot, or am I able to walk away?
Yeah, and then audit after every session. In our bankroll manager, it has a section at the very end about a post session. Like, you need to write down about, did you honor your limits, making sure that you are doing an audit on yourself, right? Nobody else needs to see it. Like, you don't have to share it with anybody. But I think when you actually write something down, Gavin, that is probably more into your brain about feeding, hey, I understand what I'm doing, and then I understand this wasn't very well, and put some notes out and some comments out there about what went well, maybe what didn't go so well.
And then something that's important, and I can't speak personally on reaching out, but again, people close to us, loved ones, have sought help through these avenues and found success through it. So what you're seeing on the screen now is several different resources, and then obviously some of those being very state specific in terms of what is available to you guys, focusing on resources that can assist you in your pursuit of stopping gambling. National Council of Problem Gambling Gamblers Anonymous, SAMHSA National Helpline, and then again, your state's Problem Gambling Council. Every state has one, and it takes one Google search to really start kickstarting this help that you may need.
And then you can even go self-exclusion, right? You can type self-exclusion in. You can go if you're going into a casino, you can go down to the bottom of their page. They'll say responsible gambling down there. You can click on that. You can do a self-exclusion that you can do up. It starts at 6 months. It goes up to a lifetime, making sure that you set whatever you want that to be. Once you make that decision, that's the decision. That industry, you can do that for online. You can do that for online slots. You can do that at a casino, and you can, like Gavin said, you can go through your state and different all these other different resources and do it. But hey, the big thing is here is if you recognize you do have a problem, it's addressing the problem and do what you need to do in whatever avenue you need to do to get the help that you need.
And then to close this out, something that we want to emphasize now more than ever is that if this reaches one person, we're not out here in pursuit of this channel being wildly successful, the pursuit of money, ads, or anything like that. We want to help you guys as gamblers in the day-to-day life of what you guys may be going through in the casino, outside the casino, whatever it may be. So again, if we can reach one person, one family, one friendship, one relationship in any way possible and impact them positively, that's what's important to us. There's the comment section for the video. It is relatively anonymous. No one necessarily has to know what you're going through, but you could use that as a forum if you needed to reach out to us, ask us questions in terms of what resources we can potentially help guide you towards. What's most important to us is that you guys go into the casino educated. Not every video is going to be like this, and not every video is going to be our simulation. Ultimately, our goal is to make sure that you're going into the casino a wiser and educated gambler.
Yeah, and I'll add safer, right? Like we put safer in here for a reason, and it's to make sure that everybody is safe while they play. And hey, bankroll management tools, the cash out button is the most. Hey, if I could hit the cash out button every time, that's your friend, and you got to stop thinking about it. Is sometimes, oh, I don't need to cash out quite yet or whatever, but cash out. Have the plan before, hit the cash out button when you reach your ceiling. Not saying that you can't adjust a little bit along the way, but then your floor needs to move up, as we talked about earlier today. But certainly, Gavin, what do you say at the end of every one of these episodes?
We hope that you guys again, comment anything you guys need help with, and share and subscribe.
Yeah, put the comments in too, right? One comment could change somebody else's life through your experience. So put it in the comments. Let's hear what you got to say, and let's have this channel be what it's for, a safer, smarter player.
All right, guys, have a good day.
See you.